So in 1989, the Toyota Motor Corporation launched its luxury brand in the US, Lexus. And Lexus reinvented the way people thought of luxury cars in terms of refinement, in terms of comfort, in terms of the customer experience, and in terms of reliability. Over the years, they grew to become the #1 luxury brand in the US, and they were known for making big, massive, comfortable luxury cars that had a gliding sort of effect as they went down the road. In the late 2000s, however, Lexus totally reinvented the wheel and absolutely shocked the world with the LFA sports car. This thing had a screaming V10 heart, and it was screaming to the extent that a regular analog rev counter couldn't keep up with the engine, so they had to put in a digital one instead. The car that I'm standing next to right now, the Lexus LC 500h, is an extension of that theme. This is part of the Lexus brand strategy to make the brand more youthful, more sporty, less staid, and less known purely for their luxury cars like the LS 500. And this is going to be the next launch in India for Lexus with the LC 500h when it comes out early next year. And the Lexus brand has been known for attention to detail. And this car from the front absolutely screams attention to detail. Just look at those triple projector headlamps and the turn indicator, which is stacked vertically on the side of the front of this car. And look at that spindle grille. It absolutely screams attention to detail. The intricacy with which the design sort of works its way up into a single form, it looks pretty fantastic. And the spindle grille is the new design language from Lexus that is intended to shock and awe. It's intended to wake up its customer base and absolutely change the impression of the brand by making it in your face, aggressive, and that's exactly what this car screams. The name stands for luxury coupe, and this car screams luxury coupe. You know, every car designer likes to say that their car looks like a crouching tiger. Well, this one, with the wide haunches and the slim waist and this low-slung profile, really does look like a crouching tiger. Now at this end as well, you've got that sort of reverse spindle grille, and the design just seems really tight and really well put together. And if it's attention to detail you're after, all you need to do is take one look at that tail light. It's got this amazing sort of 3D depth within the tail light itself. And as someone from Lexus was saying yesterday, it's inspired by Bruce Lee's film, Enter the Dragon. The final scene of that film, when he's in this room full of mirrors, it's got this amazing sort of illusion, and they've tried to replicate that within the tail light itself. Now here's where things start to get really complicated. This car is powered by a 3.5-liter V6 mated to a hybrid powertrain. Now in the US, you also get the option of a 5-liter V8, and I happen to have driven that car as well. And it's a completely different character from this hybrid powertrain. That's much more conventional, sports car-esque even. It's got a screaming V8. This one, however, is a much more of a refined experience. The combined power output of the electric motor, actually it's 2 electric motors, and the V6 internal combustion engine is 354 horsepower and 340 Nm. So it's certainly not lacking for power. Last night, we sat down with the chief engineer of this car and tried to wrap our head around exactly how all this technology works, and specifically the transmission. And after 2 hours, I had a headache and no more understanding of exactly how this car works. But essentially, it's a lithium-ion battery pack which sits in the back, It's got the internal combustion engine, which is what you're looking at right now, and that's mated to a CVT transmission, which is great for a hybrid powertrain. So it's internal combustion engine, 2 electric motors, CVT transmission, and then a 4-speed torque converter automatic transmission. The end result of all of that is that it has a 10-speed gearbox. This is a really complicated drivetrain, and as the chief engineer said yesterday, it costs more to produce than the 5-liter V8. That, after all, is conventional and old school. This is new age. This is for the customer that has a slightly more refined sensibility, and you kind of want to enjoy the performance of a sports coupe like this while flying the green flag as well. Now, the cabin of this car absolutely screams attention to detail. Now, what most people don't know is that Toyota actually started off as a textile company. And maybe some of that heritage is carried over into the cabin of this car, because the different materials and the way the shapes and forms sort of flow together to create this finished product is pretty incredible. And the finish, the quality, the attention to detail, the stitching, the different colors, I mean, it's absolutely phenomenal. And this is really what Lexus is known for, but they've taken it up a notch in their latest generation of cars. And like with the LFA, it's got a digital rev counter, and when you're going up the revs and screaming towards the red line in Sport or Sport Plus, it changes from a calm white to an angry orange to tell you when to change gears. And it's really quite a driver-focused cabin. If I want to change the driving modes, all I need to do is reach over and adjust the different driving modes by this knob, which is on the top of the instrument cluster. And the idea is that you shouldn't have to take your eye off the road. So it's got a head-up display in front of me, and also this big massive digital screen which is controlled by this trackpad. It takes a little bit of getting used to, but once you do get used to it, it's really quite intuitive and easy to use. But the beauty of this cabin is the quality of the materials and the way everything just flows and blends together and cocoons the driver and the passenger in absolute refinement and absolute luxury. This really is a luxury coupe, because when you're driving down the road, it can go from being completely quiet, completely serene, and completely refined to angry sports coupe when you change to Sport Plus and put your foot down.
The real beauty of the LC lies in its ability to go from being a quiet, calm, luxury coupe that's kind to the environment to a screaming and invigorating sports coupe in the blink of an eye. It goes without saying that this level of tech, luxury and performance won't come cheap. It'll certainly run you well north of $1.5 crore when it's launched in India in early 2020. And at that price, it'll face stiff competition from the likes of the Mercedes-AMG S-Coupe, BMW 8 Series and Porsche 911. So it may not be the obvious choice, but it is possibly the most evolved one.